Először is nagyon szépen köszönöm.
First of all, thank you very much, Your Excellency, and Mrs. Director also, because now we are having guests from the Indian Embassy, and we are having here His Excellency Ambassador of India to Hungary, and also the Director of the Hatoscsatorna Indian Cultural Center. Thank you very much for coming, and if I remember well, Your Excellency arrived here about 2 years ago, is that correct?
Yes, let me begin again by conveying my greetings to all the audience, and you are absolutely correct. I arrived here in November 2018, 2 years ago, and this has been my first posting to Hungary and my second posting to Europe.
If I remember well, you visited Balatonfüred and you walked along the Tagore Avenue, and it was a great experience for you. Could you please tell us about it?
Yes, in fact, even before I arrived in Hungary, I had read about Tagore's stay in Balaton and how he benefited from the treatment there and planted a tree there. And therefore it was my wish to, within a few days of my arrival, to go to Balatonfüred and be at that place where Tagore was there.
There is a great film about Rabindranath Tagore here in Hungary, and since we are having the film festival, I think you have also thought about him and you have put a film about him also.
Yes, in fact, for this 6th Indian Film Festival on Hungarian channels, of course, we have included this film on Rabindranath Tagore, Thinking of Him. This film is a very beautiful film. It's an Indo-Argentinian co-production. And it is based on Rabindranath Tagore's visit to Argentina.
And also there is a poetess called Victoria Ocampo.
And she was a fan of Rabindranath Tagore. She had read his poetry and she was very eager to meet him.
Igen. Úr szereti a sportot, mert volt egy...
As I know, Your Excellency likes sports. There was another event, the opening of the Yoga Day.
Yes, I have personally been doing yoga for many years now. And ever since the International Day of Yoga was announced by United Nations, since then we have been organizing it every year, not only in Hungary, but all over the world. And therefore it has been my honor to participate in yoga events every year, wherever I have been. In fact, you would also see myself in some yoga postures on our website.
Igazgató asszony említette a 6. filmfesztivált.
Mrs. Director, you have talked about the 6th Film Festival. And there are several films that will be shown. What are the highlights of the...
I would say the biggest highlight, of course, is that this year the film festival is on Hungarian TV channels. I think this is the biggest highlight, and we are very happy to be showing 5 films on the Hungarian channel, Hatoscsatorna channel. The second most important thing I would say is also that we have a mix of genres. So you will find Bollywood masala films. We have blockbuster film like Saho, which has raked billions and billions of dollars on the box office, and we also have 3 films which are conveying very strong social messages.
लेके परदेस जाई
हमरे बिटवा को भी तनी काम पे लगा दीजिए.
I am very happy that they have invited the film Jalki, which is also known as 150 Million Magical Sparrows, and it's the tale of a 9-year-old girl who's in search of her 7-year-old brother against the backdrop of a very, very problematic human trafficking and child labor scenario in India.
काम नहीं है तो पूछा क्या है? हमने भाई को देखा है क्या? इतना सा है। बाबू है उसका नाम।
अंदर कोई नहीं है। ये यहाँ नहीं रहेंगे।
बच्चे यहाँ नहीं रहेंगे तो मैं भी नहीं रहूंगी।
Hindu Sarkar depicts about the journey about the protagonist played by Kirti Kulari is a backdrop of emergency of 1975 to 77. What happened during the tenure of the emergency in India?
ये काम मैं करना चाहती हूँ।
Nagykövet úr, mit gondol arra kapcsolatban, hogy
Your Excellency, what is your opinion that Indian art, movie art, what novelties can the Indian movie art bring into India-Hungary relationships regarding culture, language learning, tourism, business, and so on?
You know, any movie actually is like a window to the culture and social life of that country. So Indian movies also not only showcase our social life, our language, our costumes, sites and other places, but they also expose, in fact, a way of thinking into the Indian mind. And therefore, when the Hungarian audience sees Indian films, they get a very good glimpse into the Indian society. The second also aspect is that some of the Indian movies, especially in the last few years, they are also being shot in Hungary. So therefore, when the Indian audience sees those movies, they also get exposed to the beautiful Hungarian landscape, the sights, etc. So that is actually a wonderful way in which people of both sides of Hungary and India, they see culture of both countries, and therefore it acts as a bridge of friendship between the two nations.
These films have Hungarian dubbing also. How did you select the translator? Because in some cases there are artistic translations, they are really poetry-like. So how did you select translators?
We have got excellent translator for these Hindi films. One person I can say, his name is Janos Kocic. He has been a loyal translator for all our Hindi films, and he's excellent. People who have watched the films, particularly thinking of him, they have said that he has translated absolutely creatively and beautifully, so that the audience here in Hungary can understand the essence of Hindi films.
Nagykövet úr, amióta itt van.
Your Excellency, since you are here, or since you have been in Hungary, have you watched any Hungarian movies?
Unfortunately not yet, but I have of course heard about a lot of movies, and I know that Hungarian film industry is also very, very well renowned, and several Oscar award winning movies also here. I was reading about the movie Sunshine some time back, and also Son of Saul, as Alam Polgar, and so on and so forth, yes.
Are there any chances that Indian and Hungarian filmmakers make movies together? So is there any thought about making an Indian-Hungarian co-production?
This is definitely a possibility. And let me begin by adding that we had organized a symposium on film industry and tourism a few years ago. And both governments are also in discussion to work on an audio-visual agreement. So this agreement will lay down the framework of cooperation between the film industry and cinema makers of both countries. And therefore, thereafter, it will be up to the industry to take it on from then.
Mrs. Director, could you please tell us a few words about the Indian Cultural Center? In a few sentences, can you tell us what the Cultural Center does? How the Cultural Center promote the relationship between Indians and Hungarians. I think of language teaching and all other type of activities.
Absolutely. The Amrita Shergill Cultural Center, as it is named, is a place where we do a lot of events related with India, spreading Indian culture, like yoga through courses, through events like International Day of Yoga. And we also have a lot of events and concerts. We also collaborate with a lot of Hungarian artists. And we have done a lot of publications of Indian, books and scriptures into Hungarian and vice versa. So in a way, we are trying to connect with the art, culture, the writers, all aspects of Hungarian culture with Indian culture. And that is, I would say, the most important thing that we are doing.
Itt vannak ezek a gyönyörű kiadványok.
Here you have these fantastic publications about India.
Mennyire érhető el
How available are they for Hungarian audience?
Well, our library is open for all the Hungarian audience to come and readers to come and check it out, of course. But besides that, we are in a process of translating a lot of books. And we are looking forward to translating some key books by important writers on important issues about art, craft, culture, politics, and foreign policies and various other topics. So in future, I think a lot of publications would be available for the Hungarian audience, and they will come closer to India.
Az egyik kiadvány Bollywood.
Az egyik kiadvány, one of the publications is Bollywood. What should we know about Bollywood and Mumbai as the center of Indian film industry? I'm asking this because I think India produces the most films, or one of the biggest producers of films worldwide. So what should we know about it?
One big fact which I would like to highlight is that not only India is the largest producer of movies, but also filmmaking in India started almost at the same time as cinema was invented. Within a few years of 1895, 1896, when the first cinema was screened, movies started coming up in India. And in the last 100 years plus, this is a long history of filmmaking in India, capturing different moods, different genres, different languages. And in doing so, movie making in India has evolved into a form which is very unique, which has little bit of many things, which has dance, which has music, which has melodrama, which has emotions, and most important, there is a human connect. And that is what Bollywood and Indian movies actually separate Indian movies from movies all over the world.
Yes, we can see it in Hungary and in Europe also. And there is a question that is not so much connected to this film festival, but I believe that everywhere in the world, Indian film series are well known. So I think in regards of soap operas, India is also one of the most famous film producers.
Absolutely. Indian soaps are very, very well known all over the world. They are long running soap operas based on family dramas, situation comedies, and various other social issues. And they have been popular since the 1980s. And now, due to satellite channels, of course, they come right to the international audience as well.
And in fact, I can add one thing to what she said. In one of my previous postings, we had screened a film. And after the screening of the film, I had gone to the stage, and then a lot of kids who came running after me. And then they told me, why don't you get, and they took the name of one of the soap opera star here. And I said, how do you know him? So he said, because we watch him every day on TV.
Nemrégiben volt a fényünnepe, a Diwali.
Not so long ago, you had one of the biggest Indian festivals, Diwali. And this year, you could celebrate it differently because of the epidemic. How did Indians celebrate this year?
Diwali, as you know, is one of the largest festivals of India. This year, of course, due to the pandemic situation, it was a very different Diwali that we had to organize. We could not meet in groups. We could not also organize feasts together.
Szerencsére és a jó együttműködésnek köszönhetően itt nálunk a Hatoscsatornán.
Due to the good cooperation here in Hatoscsatorna, Hatoscsatorna Channel, the audience can see Indian movies every week. And now the audience can get to these movies easier than in the cinema theaters because they are closed. So due to the epidemic, now Hungarian audience is not closed from Indian movies because they can watch the television whenever they want. So now if we think about the time after the epidemic, is it possible that you may show Indian movies on television channels?
In fact, I must share with you that next year we are celebrating the 75th Independence Day of India.
Igen.
So we have big plans. We hope that once again we bring absolutely fantastic Indian films from different regions of India to the Hungarian audience. And definitely television would be one of our platforms.
Igen.
And the reason that we chose television was also because during the pandemic, it is very difficult to have physical viewing, screening. So through Hatoscsatorna channel, we are reaching out to so many Hungarians.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, did you learn some words in Hungarian maybe?
Only a few words. Of course, I know Köszönöm szépen and Köszönöm a segítséget.
És ön?
Jó reggelt!
Jó, hát akkor tényleg köszönöm szépen.
Thank you very much. Good luck, and we hope that next year will be much better and more peaceful.
Namaste.
Namaste. Viszontlátásra.
Viszontlátásra.